Good afternoon, Vietnam, man. How y'all doing? Y'all sexy, man. Y'all wearing space pants. Y'all asses is out of this world. Well, I can't even believe how sexy y'all are. Y'all making me blush. Too good to me. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you guys. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. I really love. Oh, too much. That's too much, guys. Come on. Seriously, let's get going. We got to get started here. Let's get on with the show. It's the afternooner, guys. It's the afternooner. I'm here with you in the afternoon. We're going to hang out and talk. We got a lot of stuff to get into, man. I don't know if you know this, but the Dark Maga's got a lot I got to tell you about because shit's going to stop being fun. Well, we already knew that. Doge, come on. It's coming to an end. I'm going to rant about it here in a minute. I got to get a lot off my chest about it. I'm upset. Did y'all watch the exit interview with Elon when they were announcing he was stepping down as the head of Doge? He's going to still visit from time to time with his golden key, but, he'll be too high on mushrooms to really do much about anything. Did you hear about this? Elon Musk loves mushrooms and ketamine. He loves it. He probably does meth. Man, he says he works 18 to 20 hours a day. How's he doing that? Now we know. He's doing it hyped up. He gave $270 million to Trump because he was high on mushrooms. Man, that's crazy. That's the funniest shit I've ever heard in my life. Oh, come on in. Welcome to the show, man. It's the Sabbath. We're doing the afternooner. I'm going to start here in a minute, but hit them shits. Like this video. Hit like. Smash that right now. Smash that shit. And then share this out. Get this out somewhere. Share it out. Or just save it to your favorites. It's going to be your favorite thing ever, so you might as well save it there right now. I'm promising you, you're going to love it. I got news for you. I got memes. I got all kinds of memes. Coming up for you. Everything you could want to see is coming up on this feed. So get in here and share this out and smash them shits. Hit that like button for me. Just a little show, as you can see where you're at. Not a lot of subscribers, trying to build up, trying to get out there. Just a Christian streamer trying to give you guys something of value. Get on here and stream for you guys. I'm a comedian I'm originally from Missouri, but now I'm living in Connecticut. I'm going to start working the circuits again and getting out there and doing some more comedy. But in the meantime, I'm doing these streams with y'all while I'm sitting around in the apartment. Because I get bored, man. I get bored and I love to get on and chat with you guys. So chat with me. Let me know what you're doing. If you're here on Rumble, join the comments section. I'm paying attention to the comments, man. I love hearing from you guys. I want to hear what you have to say. If you're on YouTube, comment. Let me know what you're doing. If you're on X, comment. Wherever you're at, that's where we're at. So wherever you're at, you're in the right place. And whenever you get here, it is the right time. You cannot be late, ever. So even if you're here after the live, that's the best time to be here, really. Because you get to relax. You get to just lay back and take everything in. Just take it all in like a warm bath. Here's Shawn giving you a nice warm bath. That's what it is. So light up your favorite smoke, get your drink ready, your iced tea or whatever you're drinking on, and get ready for some memes and some jokes and some news. We're going to talk about some things. But first I'm going to rant with y'all, man. I got some stuff to get off my chest. I'm angry. You know what I mean? We were getting some really cool shit with Doge. Doge was being cool. And then all of a sudden it got less cool and then less cool. And then it kind of went away. And now it seems to be gone. Like, what's going on with that? I'm not happy about that at all. So let's put 3 minutes on the clock. I want to rant to you about Elon leaving Doge and Doge stopping being cool. Where's our $5,000 check, show? Here's 3 minutes. I'm sick of this shit. So we find out that Elon's been high on shrooms, and that's why Doge came to a screeching halt. Why did Doge come to a screeching halt? He says he's working 20-hour days. He's got this team of geniuses. We haven't seen a report of huge savings since we got the last report like 3 months ago when Doge first started kicking off. They came right out swinging, talking about all these huge savings they were giving the American taxpayers, and now not a cricket about nothing. Nothing about nothing has come out lately about Doge. And I follow Doge. I even follow Doge on X. I'm in a big Doge group. I stay on top of it as much as I can. There's been not much new come out. Ever since they exposed the mass immigration, the infiltration of the United States and how they gave these people Social Security cards, ever since they exposed that, full benefits, by the way, there's been nothing. Crickets. All the Dems came out and were outraged, and then all of a sudden you heard no more updates on Doge. No more updates at all. And now Elon's stepping down as the head of it. Of course, they say they're going to get another head of it, but who's to say that they will, or that means anything? Just because they say they're going to do something doesn't mean they're going to do it. How often does the government tell you they're going to do something and they don't do shit? And then they just rolled out the big, beautiful bill after they convinced us they're going to save all this money. But it adds 3.8 trillion to the budget by 2034. So, or the deficit rather. So how is any of this making sense? You know, we're in a massive inflation situation. All of a sudden, this government waste we were cutting just comes to a screeching halt. Elon stepping down. Turns out he's wired up on drugs the whole time, on ketamine and shit. And psychedelic mushrooms. He was taking psychedelic mushrooms, ketamine and amphetamines on the campaign trail with Trump. He's high as shit, up there giving speeches with Donald Trump, the president of the United States. And he gave $270 million for that privilege, to be able to do that. To travel the country and go to Trump rallies high off his ass. Turn out Elon loved drugs. You know, a lot of great people, you don't want to know about them. You know, they say don't meet your heroes, because I think you wouldn't be happy with what you'd find out. You know, a lot of the people you look up to do a lot of things you don't like. Elon's one of them. You know, the man dresses up as the Antichrist for Halloween. How do people get it in their head that he's a good guy? He's not a genius either. You know, he didn't invent anything. He didn't invent Tesla cars. He didn't invent SpaceX. He didn't invent the technology behind any of that shit, even the flamethrower he sells. He's like Thomas Edison of our generation. And he calls his brand Tesla after one of the smartest people to ever live and walk this earth. He's nowhere near that, but he models himself after him. He wants to be known as our generation's Nikola Tesla. Elon Musk is not even a genius. He's a very driven man who was born rich and has used his power and influence to increase those riches, but that doesn't make him anything other than that. And he's the guy that wants to put a brain chip in your head. Let's not forget about that. Let's never forget that Elon Musk is the brain chip guy. Sorry, I have to clear my throat. I don't know how we ever started trusting the brain chip guy. This is the Neuralink guy. This is the guy that wants to put a chip in your head. He's weird too. And now it turns out we know why he's so quirky. He's high off his ass. Yeah, Heather, Elon is a joke. Elon is a joke that is not even funny. He's an unfunny joke. But he's stepping down as the head of Doge. Maybe they'll get somebody in there that'll do something that won't be so high on mushrooms that they give up midway. They find out all this massive fraud is taking place and just drop their pen and pick up their hash pipe. You know what I mean? Let's get a drug addict in there that is least functional. And now I'm starting to side with the Dems. We shouldn't have let this dude be in charge of nothing. Trump said he's happy with him, gave him a golden key. What are we giving him a key for? Why does he need a key? To key to what? Key to his dumb ass figuring something out? He could use that. You know, he causes his stock to drop all the time. I'm sure this coming out about his massive drug problem is causing his stock to plummet right now because he keeps himself in too much control, because he has this whole idea that he is a super genius. You know, he's given himself that idea, but he's very fond of that idea, and he just runs with it. But we let people identify as whatever they want anymore. We let them call you or call themselves anything they want. And she's right. Heather, my wife, my beautiful wife, is right about this. Free speech does not even exist on Elon's platform. X, you know, now I know he sold it to XAI, but doesn't he own that as well? He still owns everything, right? So, or does he not? I really don't know. Does he own Grok? I assumed he did. So he sold it to the company that runs Grok because that's what it's for anyway. Twitter X is being used to train Grok on human consciousness. You know, these idiots, these monsters, these fools, these Luciferians like Elon Musk think that they can cheat death by putting themselves in a robot, putting their consciousness in a machine. And they're trying to replicate that, and they're using X to train what is going to be what I feel is going to be the consciousness model for the ultimate AI. It's really not all these little sections it looks like it is. I don't think Sam Altman is on a different team than Elon Musk. I think they're going to unite in the end. It's going to be a machine that is quantum that comes together in the end, is made up of all these different units, and they're trying, each one is trying to develop a different part of their reality that they're looking to create for their souls that they're going to upload into these robots that are going to walk around until they wear out, and then they upload into another robot body. Or these humanoids. Have you seen these? They're breeding humanoid clones that they say have no consciousness, that they're going to try to insert and use for parts. They're going to try to use them for spare parts. So rich people have someone to buy a new kidney from. They just buy it from this humanoid that's raised in a lab that has no consciousness and can't feel pain. They're doing experiments on this idea. This is really going on in what we refer to as science. This is happening right now. Because we've allowed the world to go insane. You know, we've allowed everything to get so crazy. And the media itself, the Mockingbird media, to mislead people in such a massive way that, you know, we got men being women. We got fentanyl addicts that are killed by a cop accidentally that actually died of an overdose. It wasn't Derek Chauvin's knee on George Floyd that killed George Floyd. He was overdosed on fentanyl. And Derek Chauvin just happened to be the arresting officer when he died. He wasn't suffocating underneath there. That's a side effect of an overdose. The not being able to breathe and catch his own breath, the anaphylactic shock. That's a side effect of the fentanyl overdose. He's overdosing on fentanyl. He probably tried to take his stash and ingest it, which is a lethal dose. It only takes a small amount of fentanyl to kill you. So he just probably did something stupid like that, trying to get rid of what he had on him by swallowing it. And maybe it was in a baggie and it busted in his stomach. I don't know how it went down. Maybe he just took too much because he's a dumbass. He died of an overdose. His heart stopped because of that. It wasn't because Derek Chauvin suffocated him. Am I getting that cop's name right? Have they let him out of jail yet? Like, what is he still doing in jail? He's just trying to do his job and hold this guy who's massive. George Floyd's a very big man. There was 3 cops holding him down. What happened to the other 2 cops? They didn't help with nothing? Just Derek Chauvin's knee. That's what did it. It's not on his neck, by the way. And that's a hold cops use. That's a common hold. Yeah, I paid to get verified by X, and my inbox gets bombarded by spam. X is the whole internet, really. The dead internet theory, that's not a theory. It's a fact. The internet is dead. It's been dead for a long time. You know, there's not really nothing going on in internet land. It's a dead internet, and that's the truth. That is the truth of the whole situation. But I got some stuff I want to show you guys. And the first thing I want to show you guys is this guy here. This is my favorite drummer online, besides Eloy Casagrande. And I don't count him as an online drummer because he was in Sepultura and now he's in Slipknot. This guy here has his own band, but they're not mainstream. They've never made it. This guy is El Estepario Siberiano, and he is amazing. I want to play this for you. It's him playing a Foo Fighters bit, but everything he does is covers, so he makes no money from the YouTube, but he gets out there and he gets a lot of coverage for his band. His band is called The Cost, I believe, and you should look them up. They're amazing. This guy is one of the best drummers you'll ever hear. Oh, that music is distracting. Let me turn that off. I'm so sorry about that. I didn't realize I had that on. I hope it wasn't loud. I'm going to turn that off because this is so much better than what I was playing in that little clip there. Listen to this guy. See what I'm saying? It's so clean. Wow. Unreal. That guy is crazy good. El Estapario Siberiano. You need to follow that dude. He is amazing. You will not be ever disappointed if you follow him. I promise you. That guy is one of the best drummers you will ever look up. And the band The Cost, his band, is actually really good. So I recommend that. I recommend checking them out because he is the tightest drummer you'll ever see. And he has other things he does too. You know, other side projects with music and stuff like that. But I wanted to get into some news with you guys, if you guys are ready. If you guys feel ready for some news in this afternooner, I think it's time we look at some. You know, every once in a while you got to inform yourself. And I know it can get depressing, but you know, you can't turn a blind eye. You have to pay attention. Yeah, I do love drumming. That guy's amazing. You don't like that guy, Heather? That guy's so good. Everybody should like that guy. That guy, anytime someone is that good at something, like he's the Michael Jordan of drums online. That guy's amazing. You saw him. You saw what I saw, didn't you? I hope you saw what I saw. That guy's, he's got like full control of all his limbs, and it seems like he's got a fifth limb. It's almost like something else is playing some drums too. It's just sounds are coming out of that drum set that just don't make any sense. I feel like that's amazing. Whenever somebody's that good at something, I'm a fan. You know, if you have that kind of level of mastery, I'm going to always be into what you're doing. But let me bring the news in here. We got to get some news going on. Well, what I was telling you earlier, Elon's leaving Doge. All right, Elon's stepping away from Doge, and he's going to take a back seat there, and they're going to find someone else to run Doge. Because apparently Elon's got a big drug problem, and his son punched him in the eye. He claims that this black eye came from his son punching him in the face. He had a black eye in the exit speech for Doge. And I like his hat, the black Doge hat. That is nice. But you think a 5-year-old kid gave him that shiner? What is it with shiners and these people that sell their souls? Every one of them gets the black eye. And there you go. There's Elon's black eye as he exits Doge. Is he exiting Doge because it's time to exit Doge or because he's been threatened? You know what I mean? Did somebody pop Eli in the eye? Elon. Pop him in his eye? Straighten him up for cutting into Social Security, for looking into the immigrant invasion? You know, what happened? What happened with all that? I didn't hear much in the Doge exit interview about what they've done since. If anything. You know what I mean? I don't understand this. I really don't. But it was the weirdest, the absolute weirdest exit interview I've ever seen in my life. And Trump gave him a big old key, big golden key. So I guess he can come back whenever he wants and turn his key and then, you know, do whatever he does while he's high on mushrooms. But, you know, I really hate that this started so hot and fizzled out like it did, like Doge. I want to see some more stats. Let me see some more big stats. I want to see some more fraud they found. I want to see some stuff happen to the people behind the fraud that they found. What has even happened since the first update? You know, the one where he had his little boy in the room. Has anything happened with any of that? Are we still processing all the paperwork for the government in that underground bunker that you can't even get to at certain parts of the year? Is things still being done that way? Because if it is, what the hell was any of this even for? And where's our $5,000 checks? That's the thing I want to know the most. Because if I don't get a $5,000 check, Elon's going to have another reason for having a black eye. You know what I mean? He promised me a $5,000 check. And to me, $5,000 is a lot of money. In fact, what they promised was $5,000 per taxpayer. So really, I feel like me and my wife should each get $5,000 because we each individually pay taxes in the United States, and y'all are wasting our money, and Doge is supposed to give us a $5,000 check. I still want my money, man, is what I'm saying. So that other eye can be black right away. Not by me, not by me. I'm not threatening you. I'm just saying I could put it in little X's head to dot that other eye. And I mean, I have that kind of influence telepathically. You know what I mean? If I wanted to, I could like ask a mass of people online, for instance, to just think about that, you know, X dotting that other eye. Just think that thought and project it at little X. And next thing you know, you're walking around with two black eyes, sir. So I wouldn't mess with that kind of power, you know, because that's the kind of power I yield. So just give me my $5,000 check. Another good thing that's happened is, though, that Trump has gotten the Supreme Court to let him strip 500,000 immigrants of legal status, migrants, illegals that got Social Security cards and stuff, and are living here and did not do the proper steps to become citizens. He's going to get to strip 500,000 of them of that legal status that the Democrats just threw at them willy nilly. When they're trying to destroy our country and upend our way of life. And they did a damn good job of it. There wasn't a president for the last 4 years. Everyone's aware of that, right? I mean, this is like the biggest scandal in our country's history, and it seems to be being downplayed. The president of the United States was not president of the United States during Biden's administration. And I don't believe that election was legitimate. Do you really think Joe Biden now got 80 million votes? Why doesn't anybody question that election? I see people questioning it, but no one seriously questions it. Joe Biden got 80 million votes, got what's that, 11 million more than Obama? Or did Obama even get 69? Was it 63 or 69 Obama got? Trump, I believe his number, because Trump just replicated the number again, and he got it the first time. He beat the 70 million mark each time, I think. So it's not that hard to believe he got that many votes. He's very popular. Joe Biden, though, couldn't fill a gymnasium. You really believe that any Democrat candidate got 80 million votes? But anyways, that invasion was all auto-penned, and all of those benefits that went out to those migrants that came here illegally and got hooked up with hotel rooms and free meals and food stamps and full benefits on Social Security, they're getting sent back to where they came from. And it's because the Supreme Court's letting Trump do it. And that's good. A lot of this stuff's heading to the Supreme Court, but I'm glad to see that the justices are not backing down and on the fact that this was an invasion and that this was not handled appropriately. So we gotta eliminate this stuff, because do you realize how much full benefits on Social Security is? And they're telling you there's not going to be Social Security left for you when you go to use it. And how is that okay? I want to show you this clip of Charlie Kirk debating a professor. He's debating a professor at a college. And they're talking about how regular people can't afford a home anymore. And of course, the professor has a left-leaning ideology on the whole matter. But let's hear Charlie's take on it.
Before we start, I want to say I'm a professor here at WSU, and
well, thank you for no, don't boom. What do you teach?
Fair enough. I'm a sociology professor. I actually teach environment and climate change. Don't worry, that's not my question. I have no desire to talk about that today. Before I start, though, I actually want to surprise you maybe a little bit and say that I appreciate that you're here. If nothing else, hold on. If nothing else, as someone who wants so badly to see our students engaged in politics and the life of the mind, this is great, and you should give yourselves a hand for showing up and be out here to talk about ideas. I do want to focus my question, if I can ask a question rather than doing this whole polemic thing, on the students that are here. So I've taught here for 6 years. I've gotten to know hundreds of our students. Every semester I ask them what they care about, what they want, concerns them. And I think you probably know this, what scares them the most is that the day that they leave here and they go on the job market, they enter the labor pool, that they're not going to find a job. They're not going to find a job. They're going to have a hard time buying a home. They're not going to be able to afford to have a family. Do you agree with that? Do you all agree with that?
Well, largely. I mean, if they're studying sociology, they might not be able to find a job.
Well,
but I mean, you're kind of proving that college is not really a good use of time.
So for what it's
if
worth,
the students
Charlie,
you're talking to can't find jobs, why are they learning from you?
Sorry, for what it's worth, Charlie, I mostly don't teach sociology students. I mostly teach students from across campus who are interested in things like the environment and climate change. I teach very few sociology students. There's actually a lot of environmental science, engineering,
even
finance,
more so,
accounting.
Yeah.
A lot of people with the kinds of degrees that you think are very valuable. Anyway, they remain concerned. What I would love to hear from you, genuinely, is what you believe the Trump administration has done in these first 4 months that is making the economic futures of these young people better.
Yeah, I mean, look, he's been in office for 80 days, but quite a lot. Number one, the price of oil is already down, so it's easier for everyone here to be able to drive home. The gas is going to be cheaper, which also will lower inflation. Number two, A tax bill hopefully passed, which is no tax on tips, no tax on overtime,
Right.
just middle class tax cut in history.
Yeah.
So everyone here that's going to have a job where overtime is incorporated, they'll be able to keep more of their money. Number three, we're opening up federal lands to build more homes, which is a great thing because home ownership is way inaccessible for a lot of people in this audience. And it's going to take some time. And one of the main reasons why President Trump won is because we were able to move the youth vote rather significantly
Absolutely.
and substantially, because the Democrat Party, A, took younger voters for granted. I think we can agree on that.
Absolutely.
And B, they did not have an optimistic, hopeful agenda for homeownership, for getting married and having children in this country. So I would like to see the Trump administration go even further and make it so that every young person in this country can have accessibility to be able to own a home. I think they should prohibit major funds like BlackRock from buying up private family homes so that we have to compete against them.
Before we start,
That is a big thing he said at the end. BlackRock buys up so much property and then prices it out of people's reach. That is a huge, huge, huge issue that needs to be dealt with in a big way. And it's not being dealt with. They own so much real estate, then they just rent it out at higher rates. And they keep people from being able to afford these properties by running them out, pricing them out. And then they bring in bad elements after they run out the element there and then drop the value again and then restart the process. It's just this whole process where they destroy communities. But Trump is now going to raise the tariffs on foreign steel to 50% because we need to use U.S. steel. You know, people get upset about this, but those people are idiots. Those people don't understand what he's doing here. We're making it to where companies are going to use the U.S. steel because they don't want to pay the 50% tariff. We need to use our own steel. We have steel production here in the United States. President Donald Trump has announced a new tariff rate on imported steel of 50%, doubling the previous rate of 25%. And this is going to be one of the biggest days in your life, he said to the steel workers, because now your production is going to go way up. People are going to be depending on U.S. steel, which is the way we need it to be. You know, MAGA it up. I am so sick of people boo-hooing on what President Trump is doing. Like Charlie Kirk was just saying, President Trump is doing a lot of good for the United States of America. And it's the kind of thing that we need. You should want the president to do well. People that are doing that and trying to say that they don't like what Trump is doing or they're against him for this reason or that are mostly just brainwashed idiots, and they don't really even have an argument. You know, I think what he's doing is good, refocusing things on America. That was the fastest trade war I've ever seen. And this stuff that's happening with the steel right now, you're going to see benefits coming to our steel industry from this as well. You know, and that's what's important. I don't really care about globalist agendas. You know, I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in things going on right here in the United States of America. And that's what I think the voters are interested in. And that's why Trump won in a landslide. We don't want this nonsense anymore. We don't want to placate to idiots. We don't want to have 170 genders. We're not doing that anymore. We're going to focus on what matters. We're going to focus on the fact that groceries are being priced out of people's range. You can't not afford to eat. Come on, how are you going to have people working for a living? They can't afford health care, they can't afford a vehicle, and they can't afford to feed themselves. You can't have that. It's bullshit. And all good food is priced out of people's range as well. And it's because we have this faulty education system. But Trump's education secretary is threatening to pull funding from New York over its Native American mascot ban. They won't allow Native American mascots, so Trump's saying then you get no funding. Yeah, I like this. I like having a president like this. I'm sorry if you don't. You know, I'm magging it up. I'm the dark MAGA. I like it. I enjoy it. I enjoy a president that stands up against this kind of bureaucracy. The Department of Education needs to be eliminated. It should not even exist. Why is it still there? We voted to have it taken out. We voted to have it eliminated. That's what Linda McMahon's supposed to be doing. Gutting and tearing apart the Department of Education. Bringing it back to the states so we can actually have better education in this country. We can make meaningful change to our education system, which is right now just an indoctrination system. You don't get any real education in the United States of America. It hasn't been an education system in a really long time, ever since the Department of Education, in fact. Our education ranks last in a lot of categories. We're nowhere near the top of the list in any category. So I wouldn't really say they've been very effective, and they need to be eliminated. The next clip I want to play from you is from Tim Pool, and it has to do with people's false image of Trump and how people like this guy, Adam Conover, are responsible for the way people feel. They're responsible for how they've been misled about who Trump really is. So let me let Tim Pool expose Adam Conover here. You'll probably know who I'm talking about when you see him. If you don't know his name, you'll know his face. He's been one of the main people pushing this Trump derangement syndrome on people, convincing them that Trump is some kind of monster. But check out Tim taking him down.
The very fine people hoax?
I remember the line, yeah.
Trump never called Nazis fine people.
He said there were very fine people on both sides.
Except the neo-Nazis and white nationalists who should be condemned totally.
He said that?
Holy sh, brother.
I don't live in your bubble, man.
You don't live in the fucking news, dude. This is what fucking blows my mind.
I don't have your obsessions.
Trump did not call neo-Nazis and white supremacists very fine people. Bro, it's been almost 10 years and you still think he did. It's not about listening to my shit, bro. It's reading the news. It's fact-checking. Bro, I got Snopes for you. They're not a conservative publication. Even Snopes was like, guys,
I don't know why you're shouting at me. I was just asking you to explain.
Because the issue we've had 2 liberals on in the past 2 weeks who didn't know this. And I'm just like, for the love of all is holy, all I do all day is I read probably 500 news articles every single day from CNN, the New York Times, MSNBC, and all their aggregates. And then liberals come on and they believe things that were debunked 8 years ago.
I didn't say I believed it. I was just asking what you were talking about.
If you enjoyed that, then make sure to follow.
He's such a liar. He totally believed the Trump hoax, and he pushed it. He pushed it all the time. He pushed it every day. He loves to talk about how Trump is a neo-Nazi and he supported white supremacy. He is not and did not. Ever. That's not true. This is a premium article on Zero Hedge, and I'm never going to pay for Zero Hedge, but I just wanted to show it because of that. They just want you to pay for this because only people that pay attention to the stock market would even want to read this article. So they think it's a good way to get extra money. But stocks are soaring ever since May, but the dollar's dumping, and that's why I shared it. That's why I wanted you to see it, because that's true. We're in trouble as far as the dollar goes, but we knew that, right? I think we knew that. This article on the screen here is, I got something for you to cleanse your palate after this, but this is about what's going on in Israel. I am not a Zionist. I know Trump is, but we did pull support from Israel. Like, we are not really supporting what they're doing here, but these people are being starved out and treated just horribly. And, I get that Hamas, a terrorist organization, did some terrible things, but what they're doing to the people of Palestine is just horrific. And it's really bad PR, I'm not a Zionist, so I'm not pro-Israel really, or at all, but I'm not hating on you guys that are. It's just, I think you're very misled, and what they're doing right now is clearly wrong, and to support it is just odd, especially doing it in a Christian way, from a Christian stance, supporting it from that stance, because I really don't think that Jesus or God needs us to protect any kind of real estate, or that needs us to invade the Middle East in such a way that allows it to even exist. I don't think that's necessary, but to cleanse our palate from that story, because I don't want to spend forever on that. I'm against it, but I realize a lot of people are very pro-Israel for whatever reason. They usually base a lot of it on Christian faith because Jesus was born a Jew, but I don't consider Zionist Jews. I realize that's going to get me probably taken down on YouTube and demonetized at least, but I think there's a difference. I think that the Bible talks about the Zionists as the synagogue of Satan, the Jews that pretend to be Jews. That's who I would call them, and that's what I think is going on there. But what's happening is horrific. The genocide of the Palestinian people is horrific. I can't support that, No matter how much I want to say terrorism is bad, I have to also understand that we also create terrorism. And Israel the Mossad is worse than the CIA. So did they pull this off themselves in order to take that land? I don't know that they didn't. It's not like I could say they're so upright. They've attacked us before, Mossad. So I can't say they're so upright they never would do that. You know what I mean? And how did Hamas become a billion-dollar organization? The same way Al-Qaeda has? You know what I mean? We created Al-Qaeda. Did they create Hamas? A lot of people say they did. Do you have control over them then, like we do Al-Qaeda? Here's our palate cleanser, though. I want to listen to Andrew Wilson. Andrew Wilson is my favorite blood sport debater. He goes on the whatever show a lot, and I really don't know why he does it, because I don't believe you should ever argue with an idiot, because they'll just drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. You know, it's very hard to argue with idiots, but he does it, and he's doing God's work. Now watch him take down this feminist influencer. This is hilarious.
Are you aware that men only got any rights to vote about a decade before women?
That is not true. Men have been making, the founding fathers were all men, so I have no idea what you're talking
What
about.
does that have to do with the right to vote?
The right to vote was historically withheld from men of color. It was a right.
It was also withheld from
Listen to
the
me.
general population.
Do not cut me off. Do not cut me off. I am in the middle of speaking.
I don't care if you're in the middle of speaking. You're in the middle of a debate.
The right to vote.
You don't have your TikTok mute button, sweetheart?
I did not go to school for 4 years and build a platform to be talked to like this. So I'd be walking away from the microphone right now, and I would encourage you to get your guest under control.
Because you run the show?
I just won't be back. And
I don't give a shit. What do I care? I'm here to have a debate, not listen to your whining. Do you want to have a debate or not?
All right. I'm not going to be talked to like this.
Well, this is feminism? You're the strong woman? You're the strong woman?
Girl
Are you
power.
aware?
Girl boss. Watch out. Girl boss in the house. She's going to take us all down. Man, I got bad news for you guys. We're creeping up on Pride Month. It's the last day that isn't gay. Today is the last day that isn't gay. Tomorrow, the gays are going to come running in. All the corporations are going to change their logos to rainbow flags. Happens tomorrow. Prepare yourself. I really hope it doesn't. You know, every year, the last couple years anyway, it seems to have been dwindling each year. I hope it does. I hope it just fizzles out to nothing. You know, because how did one deadly sin, pride, get its own month? You know, how long before we're giving other deadly sins their own month? How does pride become a month? And why is that their slogan, pride? You know, Norm Macdonald has a hilarious bit on how the last thing a gay parent is proud, but they're not proud their son is straight either. It's not like they're out in the street talking about how much tail their son gets. And they're not talking about how much wiener they get either if they're gay. You know, it's not something you're supposed to be proud or take pride in. You're supposed to be proud of things you do or things you accomplish, not something that you're born. If you're born gay, why are you taking pride in that? Why is pride a thing that's involved in that? Why can't you just be happy with that and then everyone would be fine with it? But you have to go out in the streets and have parades and stop traffic and do all of that. And that's what makes it ridiculous. And then everybody's got to go along with it or they're hateful. Well, guess what I'm going to do during Pride Month? The same thing I do every Pride Month. Nothing. Nothing different. I will not be altering my life in any way because it's Pride Month. And in fact, I'm going to drive through any protest or any demonstration or any Pride parade. I'm just going to drive right through it. I put a plow on the front of my car, and that's just the way I'm going to do it. But luckily for you, I don't have a car, and that's just in my imagination. The bus will probably stop, but hopefully they'll clear it out and the cops will come. You know, if I have my way, that's what'll happen. I don't probably have my way. I hardly ever get my way, but if I was to get my way, that's the way it would go down. But this has been the Afternooner, man. We're just hanging out. We're just talking, chatting, and stuff like that. Looks like I got some more comments here. Heather is the beast of the comment section today. She is really tearing it up. If you're here, anyway you're here, go ahead and comment, because Dion's here. Dion's here on YouTube. Hey, Dion. Good to see you. But feminists are anti-men. You're right, Heather. Me and Heather are Christian literalists. We're fundamentalist Christian, and we live the Christian lifestyle and the Christian family dynamic. Most people don't, you know. Most people do not. And it's sad that they don't. It's really tragic. But the family's dying off, and it's been killed off. It's not that it's dying off, it's been killed. It's the agenda. It's the Luciferian agenda. And everyone is welcome to Dark MAGA. Let's Dark MAGA it up. Let's continue to Dark MAGA. I want to see that go on and on and on. Let's Dark MAGA forever. Just because Elon left, so what? He shroomed out his head. He had to leave. He's got to go do something else. Try to shoot rockets at the sky, you know? Sell blowtorches. Put Teslas in space. He's got a lot of important things to do. Let him go do his shit and be high on shrooms and ketamine. You know? Let him go on and get. So we can get something actually done. I would like to see Doge actually start saving us some money. Let's get them checks rolled out. Them $5,000 checks. That's what we need to be talking about. How we get our money. You know, that's what I want is my money. I want to get paid in the shade. drinking lemonade. But thank you guys so much. I want to thank you for hanging out. This has been the Afternooner. We do these from time to time. Today's the Sabbath. That's why we did one today. I'm off on the Sabbath usually. You know, it's the Sabbath. Today's the holy day. Sunday is actually the first day of the week. Sabbath is the holy day. A lot of people don't know that. Happy Sabbath to everyone out there. I want to bless you, man. If you're hearing the sound of my voice, I hope you have a great day. Thank you for coming so much. You guys are amazing. If you like this video, hit the like button and share this out. If you had any value and had a good time here, share this out. Get this out to someone else. Help them have a good afternooner. Y'all be cool. Y'all are the greatest. I'll see you next time we do one of these. Have a great day.